But do you kind of think the big cons are going down, or you think?
All right, so
Do you think that live sales are just going to take over just the whole comic selling, flipping industry?
You know, that's interesting.
Cheers. That's pretty good. I know what you're thinking. What is bro yapping about? Comic cons aren't dying. Comic cons have been around for a long time. And nerds are still around. Geeks are still around. Cosplayers are still cosplaying. What do you mean comic cons are dying? Rest assured, I don't think that they're dying in the sense that they're just gonna stop happening. What I mean to say is comic cons for the collector are dying. I was at WonderCon this year, 2024, and I was ready to film my usual vlog. It would have been a 1-year anniversary since I started this channel and put up my first vlog. I was excited, but what ended up happening is something I couldn't expect. Now, I'm a collector. I go to Comic Cons for collecting. I don't go to Comic Cons for the cosplay, the arts, although I do enjoy those things while I'm there. I go to Comic Cons to buy books. When I was there this year, it was the most atrocious thing I have ever seen. Sellers, for whatever reason, had just decided that it was time to ignore data. It was time for them to price their books how they want to price their books. And so on the second day of WonderCon, after I spent the full first Friday looking through books and being pretty much disgusted at what I had seen, I decided we can't do the same vlog. It's time to figure out what the heck is going on. In this video, I'm going to show you guys a couple clips of books that I saw that were outrageously priced. And we're going to together research the data to see where is the disconnect. What is going on with sellers? Why aren't they honoring the data and the fair market value of these books? A lot of these books, they're charging twice as much for what they're currently going for. Personally, I think it's offensive. I think it's offensive to the collector, and I think it's greedy. By the end of this video, I hope to shed some light on some issues going on in the hobby, and maybe you can come to your own conclusions about whether or not you think comic cons are dying. But for now, let's start looking at some of the main problems that we're seeing at these conventions. Okay, this one's not too bad. It's a little. Let's just watch it. It's a 7-second clip, so a lot of raws. This seems like very high prices. Boom! First appearance of King the Conqueror, Avengers number 8. For $3,500 raw. This book has fallen from grace. I bought a copy, a 5.0 copy, back when Kang was hot, because Kang and Doctor Doom were my two favorite super villains, and the book is now worth half of what I bought it for. You know, the unfortunate circumstance of Kang not really doing well in the Ant-Man movie, and then the other unfortunate circumstance of what has gone on with Jonathan Majors outside of the movies, I think has impacted this book a lot. But $3,500 for Avengers number 8. Now, I have two problems with this. One, there is no note of condition. It's just the big price. First appearance King the Conqueror. No, not even a near mint minus. VF, VG, like nothing. No 6 to 7.0. Okay, here is the Go Collect for Avengers 8. 9.8 FMV, 36K. 9.6 FMV, 16.5K. 9.4, 9.7K. 9.2, 6.5K. 9.0, 3100, 8.5, 1800. 3500 for a raw Avengers 8. That, I mean, looks like got some problems here. There's some spine tick going on here. It's white. It looks like a pretty clean copy to me. Can't see much. I think I just like continue to zoom in here.
I mean, again, it's hard to tell because I didn't ask to see the book. I honestly didn't want to see the book, but it looks like there's like some sporadic spine text here. You can see a little bit of color break there, a little bit there. White background, which is great. You're talking about a huge gap in price between the 8.5 and the 9, and the 9 to the 9.2. Let's look at 9 recent sales. 2,800 this month on an auction. eBay best offer 3,600, so they probably got it for like 3K, probably around there. Fixed price eBay 2023 last year 5K, 4K. So again, maybe this is a case of they haven't regraded it since. Let's look at 9.2. 5K, 6K, 7K, 5K, all 2023. We haven't had a 2024 registered sale yet. Let's go check at the 8.5, because if this isn't a 9.0 plus book, you're losing a lot of money on this purchase. 8.5 last sale auction on eBay for $1,000. I'm losing my mind. That is almost the price that I got my 5.0 for. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna move on. 2,100, 1,500, 1,900. This is a raw book for 3,500, which is essentially the seller saying that this is a 9.0 plus book. Which, if that's the case, grade it yourself, because the risk as a buyer is way too high for the gamble of how is CGC feeling today. I mean, I think this is just a horribly priced book. And again, I'm gonna kind of give my theory at the end of this, but this is just, I think it's wrong. I think you're just doing a disservice to the community. It seems shady. I don't understand if the book is worth this much raw and you think is this high of grade, is it then not worth just submitting and getting graded? Like, you're not going to get taxed like crazy on the whole FMV. Like, they don't take that much from you, CGC, when you grade high quality books. Like, there's just something shady about this that doesn't sit right with me, where, especially with the gaps in price here from FMV 1,800 to 3,100 to like this range, 1,800 to 3,100 to 6,500, that ladder of pricing is big. And I think that you would just do a great service to the community as a seller by grading that book yourself, taking the risk off of the buyer, absorbing the risk for, probably buying that book off somebody for 50% of its market value, and then grading it and taking the risk of selling it raw for that high of a price, which means that you have to essentially be getting a 9.2 or higher to be getting your money back, because the 9.0s aren't even selling for that much. So it's kind of weird. There's some other ones back here. This Avengers 3,000 restored looks pretty clean. 3,000 unrestored. This is probably going to be what, a 2.0, a 2.5. Let me just, for fun, let me see. $3,000, a 3.0. I don't think that's a 3.0. I don't think that's going to get a 3.0. Not with that type of spine wear. So it's a little weird. I don't know. Could just be me. It's just a little weird. I'm just being a journalist here. And I think that you're just not doing right by the community with these types of prices. But anyways, let's go on to the next clip. Okay, so this is an FF5. This is a 2.0. This little note right here says cover detached. I think it's just like an off-white to white. Yeah, off-white to white pages. 2.0. $9,500. Let's go to Go Collect. Let's just see. I mean, is it not embarrassing at this point $9,500 to 3,000, 4,000, 4,500, 5,000, 4,800. Now we're in 2022. We're 2 years ago in the boom 2021, 6,100. Let's keep going. 60 best offer accepted, 10K. Who knows what that went for? 2021, 6,200. 2021, 4K. 2020, 2,500 to. Did this book ever go for that much? Oh my gosh, I should have bought this book in 2008 when I was 12 years old. 2.0, off-white to white, cover detached, $9,500. And according to what we just looked at, a 2.0 has never, ever, ever, ever gone for that much. At best, we got the best offer accepted at 10K in 2021. Who knows what that went for? We don't know. But wow. Like these are the types of things that I'm talking about. What is the point of going to a comic convention? I save up my hard-earned money for a year to pull up and find a 2.0 Fantastic Four 5 on the wall for a price that it has never had a documented sell for anywhere close to this price. There is no documented sale on Go Collect. There's other GPA, they might have some. I don't know. I don't have GPA. I use Go Collect. Where are they making their money? Like, are they just hoping that somebody strolls in and is just like, has a wad of cash, sees the FF5 on the wall, 2.0, 9,500, and they're like, yep, give it to me. Here's 10K, and I want that book. And what are they going to do? All right, we'll take the deal. I promise you, anybody that is in the market for this book, I am in the market for this book, knows everything about this book, because this book is an expensive book. It is a lot of money. It's not 2.0 9,500 expensive, but it's an expensive book. And probably similar to myself, they're doing their research. They're doing, okay, what can I afford? What is my budget for this book? They're probably going through this in GPA and they're like, okay, my budget is X. Okay, that keeps me out of the 5.0 range and is going to keep me in the 3.0 range. So I can afford a 2.5 to a 3.0 copy, and I know what they're going for. I know what the last few sales were. I know what my ceiling is. I know what I'd like to pay. Okay, this is that's what any reasonable person who is going to spend a lot of money. $3,500 is a lot of money. $9,500 is a lot of money. If you're going to spend that, go get a 4.0, because 4.5s are going for more than that. Like it's a lot of money. And that book is going to sit there for a long time. And the people who are in the market for FF5s know the pricing of the different grades, and they know what they can get, what they want to spend, how much they are going to spend, what their ceiling is, what the max grade is that they can afford. Like, they're going to know these things. And I just... Go Collect has no recorded sale of that book anywhere close to that. The closest is in 2021 for $7,200. That's still $2,300 off. So I don't know what. And at some point, like, these sellers are probably buying these books from people, right? So they're looking at the same data that we're looking at. So where is the disconnect? That's what I'm so confused at, because there's some sellers who will open up GPA and Go Collect with you, and eBay sold, and they'll open that up with you, and they'll, okay, check this out on eBay. This last sold for this. I'll give it to you for this. Boom. Let's make a deal. Great. If you're taking your books to a seller, hey, I want to sell you these books. Okay, cool. Let's check out Go Collect. Let's check out GPA. Let's check out eBay. Okay, this book last sold for $1,000. Now, I got to make my money on this. So, I'm always trying to make at least 20%, whatever. So I'll offer you 750, right? That gives me a little bit of room for the market to change. And, whatever. I don't know what a seller's mentality is when they're getting people coming to selling, but I'm assuming it's got to be something close to that, right? Like, they have to look at the data before they buy from people. We have to look at the data before we buy from the seller. Like, we're all looking at the same data, but somehow when you go to these conventions, it's just like these sellers, the data doesn't exist. But I guarantee that the data exists when they get people going to them and selling their books. And as soon as they buy those books from those people, I'm sure that the data is irrelevant again. As we can see, 9,500 for a 2.0. It's kind of outrageous. So let's go look at the next video. All right, y'all. And here we are. This is actually going to be our last piece of footage here. And I haven't even hit play yet. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 books to look at. I'm not going to look at the Shadow Comics and the Peanuts one. Actually, maybe I'll look at the Peanuts one. All right, so we got an Avengers 1 4.0. This is the same seller who had a raw copy for 3. Oh, actually, this will be really good. This will be really, really interesting to compare because we can actually see the seller's pricing for graded and raw and kind of see what their mentality is in pricing the raw. But first, let's take a look. This is an Avengers 1 off-white pages 4.0 CGC for $6,000. 6.0 FMV. Let's check this out. 2 whole steps, number steps up, not including half grades. But these are all like pretty, like a lot of these are well over 6K. So let's go back. Let's go to 5.5. Oops. Okay, let's take a look at a 5.5 here. More consistently around the 6.0 ballpark. Okay, 2022. This book was going for about 8K. Okay, so let's go check out a 4.0 now. Last sale 413. This would have been after WonderCon. These right here would have been before 3,200, 3,300, 3,800. Let's see when 4.0s were going for 6K last. 2022, May of 2022. So nearly 2 years ago, and it was only 2 sales before it returned to normal. So and then you got this 2021. So really it's an anomaly sale for this Avengers 1. Everything in the last year has been under 4K. So 2023, yep. 425, 2023, 4K. So if you're pulling up to these big cons with these big books, why are you not checking prices? Because if I'm in the market for this book and these books are going for 3,500, I don't feel like I can negotiate with you. I feel like you're way, way too out of the ballpark. It's really unfortunate. Okay, now let's we'll hit play a little bit to get a little move to get a better look. Okay, so we got these Daredevil ones. We got this 2.0 restored for 3K and this 5.5 off-white for $8,000. Again, it's just not even close. Okay, last sale, auction, $4,000, half of the price. But that was, again, that's after WonderCon. Okay, here we go. Fixed price eBay, 4,800, 4,800, 4,900, 4,500, 4,500, 4,600. These are all 2023. Let's see when the last time a 5.5 went for $8,000. 7,200 in 2022. That's about the bubble, and we're not going to find anything. Look, again, there's other data sites, but it never, on Go Collect, there was never a sale on a 5.5 for $8,000. We don't even have to look at this. 2.0, $3,000 on a restored 2.0. I mean, it's closer, but it's restored. I think I can filter this by restored, right? 1,400, 1,500, a few $100 in 2019 and before. So not even close. Where's the pricing come from? Your imagination? Like truly, I don't know. I don't know. Star Wars 1, 9.8. It is not a 35-cent variant. Let's get that straight. It is just a regular 9.8 Star Wars 1, which is a fantastic book. And a 9.8, 30 cent. Okay. 9.8. 2024 sales are 4K, 4,300, 4K, 4,400, 3,300. Okay, now we're in 2023. 3K, 1,800, 3,230. Okay, so about like a 3,400 average. Let's go back. 37, 4K. So this book, I'd say safely sits around $4,000, right? Seems like that's about what it's consistently gone for. Okay, here we go. 2023 Heritage Auctions. What is going on with this one? Just went for a lot. 7,800. All right, so this book, it consistently goes for around the 4K mark. And here we go. We got it $2,000 more than that. Now I'll get to my theory on why this stuff happens. I think that the people that walk into conventions, you kind of might have a better opportunity, not necessarily to take advantage of them, but to kind of take advantage of them. So if I were to open up Elite Comics 11, Diamond Comics Club, Atlas Comics on Instagram, if I were to open up any three of those Instagram sites that do either live sales or post CGC slaps to their page, we would never, ever see any pricing this egregious, this far off. And I think that you might get some customers in person who might not really know about what's going on the Instagram world of comics, who might not even know what GPA is. They know that Daredevil 1 is a great book. The first appearance of Daredevil, the first appearance of Matt Murdock, of Foggy Nelson, of Karen Page. And they see that and they're like, yeah, pretty popular character, gonna be making, I saw him in that Spider-Man movie, and I heard that they might be doing another show, and I saw the Netflix show and it was great. And you know what? A 5.5 for a Silver Age book? 8,000? Well, let me pay you 7,500. Okay, you got a deal. You're just kind of taking advantage of these people. Now, this is all just kind of theorizing. It might not actually ever happen, but I kind of think that might just be the customer base of the average Comic-Con goer. Or you might just get some cosplayers trickling in who they might not want to buy, a Daredevil 1, but maybe they're looking to buy, I don't know, a first appearance of Wanda, like a popular Marvel character, or, something like that. And you can just get away with these prices that are just pretty inaccurate, and maybe even make sales. I don't know if these people make sales. I don't know if these people walk out of the conventions making money. I mean, if they're pricing like this and they're making sales, I mean, I guess kudos to them, but it's insane. I just don't know how you would be making sales. So I don't know. I think that they also probably have customers that they see at conventions all the time, and their customers, they have a relationship with them, and their customers trust in them and kind of will come to them with their printed out, here's my list. and here's what I'm looking to buy, and then they sell to them, and that's kind of it. And that's kind of when I'm sitting at cons and I'm like looking through boxes, that's kind of what I see a lot is people literally walking up with a piece of paper in their hand, older generation usually. They're like, hey, this is my run, can you help me fill it? And they're like, okay, yeah, I got these, okay, yeah, boom, 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 okay, here, okay, what do you want for it? And they'll be like, okay, well, we got the, okay, give me this much. And they're like, okay, good. And they like don't really do any of the negotiate. I've literally seen stuff like that happen. So I'd imagine if there's sellers that they are constantly doing this with, that they probably are just like, oh, I bought from them before, it was a smooth, easy transaction. I handed them my paper, they handed me the books, I handed them the money. It was a done deal. So, yeah, I don't, I don't know. I'm just a consumer looking from the outside in, trying to figure out why these prices are so egregious. But I actually decided to interview a couple sellers. I interviewed Blue Chip Comics, and I interviewed an Instagram live seller, Vintage Comics and Toys. And I'll show you guys just snippets of the conversation that I had with them right here.
All right, what's up, y'all? This is actually editor Spro here. You're probably going to see me a couple times because, to be honest with you, this video was not planned. I'm about to do an interview with a seller at WonderCon, and like I said, this wasn't planned. My idea for this came literally Saturday morning of the con, so I didn't bring my camera because, I don't vlog with this camera at cons. I just bring my phone, get some B footage on my phone, and then I have a totally different setup for when I'm going through boxes. So this was like a 12-15 minute interview. So there's like parts where you're going to see the camera drop really low, and that's just because it was killing my arm to hold it up because I'm literally just holding my phone like that, and it was exhausting and my arm was so tired. So there's gonna be times where you see the camera just where you look like you're looking up at your older brother or something. So my apologies on that. The other thing is this other seller that I interviewed, the Instagram live seller. This was about an hour and a half long conversation. I'm just going to put a couple of the questions. So if things seem kind of out of sorts, and if you hear him reference things that don't really make sense, that's because we had an hour and a half long conversation, and obviously I can't put all of that into this video. But if you guys would like to see it, comment down below and I will gladly upload that as like a little interview podcast type thing. And lastly, I just want to make clear, obviously I know that cosplayers aren't walking in and buying like first appearance of Scarlet Witch, because that's definitely not something that they're like there for. I was just kind of making a dramatic point for the overall point that I was trying to make, that they're just kind of trying to catch wanderers and people who aren't really tapped into the overall comic book market. So that's the point that I was making. While I was editing that, I was realizing that I wasn't super clear. So yeah, my point is, I feel like the prices are bad because of trying to trap potential buyers who are not tapped into the economic market of comic books. Look, my arm's already dropping because I'm tired because I've been recording for a couple minutes. Okay, anyways, so yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. You're probably going to see me again, so see you later. What's up, y'all? I'm here with
Nico.
What do you do? Tell me about yourself.
Man, I play with funny books all day long.
Nice.
No, I'm a comic dealer here at WonderCon, and we usually have a setup at all the major cons.
All right.
And just having a blast.
Okay, cool. How has this year's con been for you?
It's been all right. It's obviously a little slower than, what it used to be back when I first started going to cons as a collector before I became a dealer. And I just feel that there's a lot of, there's so many ancillary things to comic books, right? So it's a comic con, right? But there's so many more other things other than comics.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like here, comics make up like a third, if that, of just this whole convention.
Much less.
Yeah.
Yeah, much less. You're very, I like your math.
I mean, that whole area over there, last year we were going down there with sellers, and it's like
It's
like a football field of emptiness.
Them pickings. Yeah, there's so much more, outside of comic stuff, and but it's great. It's never a bad thing that, there's other things being introduced to the market, but it's just tougher for comic dealers, traditional comic dealers, to turn a margin, today than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And even tougher 25 years ago when there was no internet, and you know what I mean.
Right.
People were coming up and there was no grading company. So what I believe now is it's more level playing field. Someone that's never been in the industry, if they don't rush and they're patient, they can do pretty well.
Nice. What do you think is like the main contributor to just less sellers, less buyers? What do you think is kind of causing this whole?
Well, it's a fair question, actually. Just this morning I was thinking about Airbnb. We rented an Airbnb. It was awesome. We have the team there. Mr. L. Marquez himself, Mr. D. Haley. We had a blast, just being able to set up, comfortably go to our Airbnb. One thing about Airbnb, they're a disruptor. They're a disruptor.
Yeah.
Hotel industry never saw Airbnbs coming. They
Right.
disrupted the industry and have a lion's share. And today, Airbnb, Netflix, there was a blockbuster moment where they had the opportunity to buy Netflix.
Dang.
They said no.
Imagine.
They said no. And so, we call it the blockbuster moment. So right now in comics, I feel, I almost hate saying this because I have a lot of dealer friends that are anti-social media. But
Horrible.
I think social media. Yeah.
I'll say it, not you. You don't have to say it.
Yeah, I can't
I'll
say it. I'm not allowed to say it, right? So they, they're great people. Just, it's like the dinosaur. You don't evolve, you go extinct. And
Survival of the fittest.
yeah, we definitely just, we had no choice. We were forced in a situation to literally modify our sales distribution and go into doing streaming. So now we have a store that's strictly streaming.
Nice.
It's so weird. Like we sell about 400 to 500 books a day, but it's strictly streaming.
Right.
We don't sell. We probably sold 20 books in a 12-month window of somebody stumbling into our store asking for the pizza restaurant. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. They didn't even mean to go into the store, and so, but we sell 400 to 500 books per day.
That's no joke.
4 days a week, straight streaming. And but those are mostly smaller books. We're not selling like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So what do you think about the current live sale meta that we kind of have on Instagram and whatnot? Like next week we got AtCon with Elite Comics. And do you think that live sales are just going to take over just the whole comic selling, flipping industry?
That's interesting. It's kind of like. There's no doubt that it's already has a hold on, the way people are buying and spending money. You can tell. But here's what I noticed. If you looked around this con right now, you'll see a lot of young people, and you'll see a lot of middle-aged people, and you'll see a lot of older people. And those older people, they're not going to change.
Right.
They're going to always want to come to con. That's why we'll have the Archies, the Peps. We'll have the Golden Age, Pre-Code Horror. We'll have all that stuff out here.
Right.
Because they're going to come here and pick up stacks of books. They're going to trust that they're buying from a reputable dealer, and they're going to have good prices on it. They're not going to go do all that online stuff. Those guys are really the legends of the space. And so to be able to be in business, to give them the opportunity to do what they're able to do, but also be in the business to, cater to the newer generation, the younger people that are getting involved, that are tech savvy. In fact, to take away their technology, they'll run away from home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, if you put me in front of a computer, I have to run away from home. You know what I mean? So it's the opposite generation. But now what I'm finding is those guys, they're doing it a little different. They're doing it a little bit more savvy. They have access, like they're quick to do research in books and figure out what's a good value. You know, who's going to be the actor.
Yeah.
Where's this book going to go? Longevity and credibility of like the potential of that book. And so I do believe that technology is going to disrupt this industry more than it already has.
Yeah.
For sure.
So do you think, I think you and a couple other sellers are an exception to this, but do you think that the reason why con prices are so bad is because people, like sellers, are taking advantage of the fact that the old heads that are collecting aren't keeping up with current data?
I feel that wherever there's money involved, especially large money, there's going to always be the opportunity for someone to take advantage, right? And for someone to say not their industry, not their hobby, not their, that would be a lie.
Yeah.
Right? So I do believe there may be a little bit of that. We tend to disassociate ourselves from any negative energy in the industry, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. I just don't go looking for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can't answer that question with 100% integrity, right? But I can say in any industry, you're probably going to find that.
Yeah, that's my theory at least.
Yeah. No, it's not a bad one. I mean, it makes sense for crying out loud.
Yeah, no, because some of the prices here are outrageous, man. I saw a Beat Avengers 5 First Appearance of Kang, probably like 230 with an 1800 sticker, raw.
That's insane. You know what? First of all, I just want to say thank you for being our customer and then also honoring me with the ability to get it on the stream. One of the things that I love, and I don't know if you can attest this or not, we love making sure our prices are quality prices, right?
Yeah.
But not only quality prices, if we find out we made a mistake or we forgot to price something, in a heartbeat, each of my employees are instructed to never, ever not research that price.
Yeah.
Even if we lose money, we hope to win the relationship long term. And that's our goal.
I mean, that's just OG sales. Like,
right?
That's not a new concept. That's an old concept.
It should be the standard for everyone.
Right, exactly. All right, where can the people find you?
The Blue Chip Comic, THE, Blue Chip Comic. We're on Instagram, and we do mystery bundles and whatnot. So,
all right.
Yeah, feel free. Check us out. Come say hi. If you're at any of the big cons, love to talk to you. We love making new friends. We might not always make money, but if we make a new friend, it's a win for us.
That's what it's about. All right, thanks, Dakota. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
brother. Appreciate you.
So that was my interview with Nakota of Blue Chip Comics. So go ahead and check out his stuff. I'll have his links to Instagram and whatnot in the description. This next seller, like I said, we're only going to go in a couple questions that we went over in an hour and a half long conversation. But I need to note that this was actually surprisingly my first time really using Zoom. I've just have clicked Zoom links in the past and I've joined calls and that's it. But this is my first time actually setting up my own Zoom meeting, and I didn't know that Zoom controls your mic. So my microphone is going to be really inconsistent. I'm going to do my best to kind of help level out the audio, but if it just sounds weird and crazy to you guys, yeah, that's why. It's because Zoom, for whatever reason, was trying to control my volume. So it's not going to sound, it's literally the same mic setup that I used when I was going over the prices. So you guys are going to hear the difference. So anyways, apologies. So yeah, let's get into this interview. And then I'm at this other booth with this guy that I see at pretty much like every con. And he's sitting there complaining about Go Collect. And he's like, yeah, like I hate Go Collect. He's like, these buyers are always, using Go Collect against me. And I have this book that I'm asking X amount for. And this guy came up to me and he's like, yo, look at these last couple sales. Like, and I'm just like, man, that book isn't worth that low. And he's just like totally like, dogging on Go Collect. In my mind, I'm like, okay, like one, that's fine if that's not the price you want to sell it at. Like, but if that's what the price the book is going for recently, and you're not willing to sell at that price, then just keep it at home. Like you said earlier, like if you need to sit on a book for a little bit longer for it to come back to what you think it's worth, then do that. But don't come out to the con floor, try to sell a book at a price that's not fair market value, and then harp on the websites that are actually bringing sellers and buyers actual like true raw data from multiple places, not just eBay, but like all these auction sites too. Like these Go Collect and GPA, like they're keeping everybody honest. They're keeping the whole industry honest.
Right. I don't know how much WonderCon costs to set up. I would imagine it's probably 25, $3,000 maybe
Yeah.
to set up something like that. And you're gonna need like a say like a the total sales to be like I would think 10,000. At the very bare minimum, maybe
Yeah.
$12,000 in sales, and maybe the younger generation of vendors don't think they can make it, so they're not going to show up, or they were just they liquidated maybe during the winter and they don't have stock to replenish, or they didn't have time to reprice their books, so they're not going to show up. They don't think they're going
Yeah.
to have a show. um that's I would probably lean that they don't think they can make the money. And there's no coach to tell you like, hey, tell you what to do with your inventory, right?
Right.
Like, you know, for me, I knew what I had to do at New York Comic Con, and I lost a lot of money on what I could have had before. Like, I could have, if I had sold these books earlier, I would have made more money. But I saw things dipping, and I just unloaded, bro. Like,
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna sell it all out, and then I'm gonna find a way to replenish, and then I'm gonna make a good margin on what I replenish on, So that's how the way I saw it. So yeah, like I haven't been able to replace my Grail books that I sold in New York Comic Con. Just haven't been able to. But I'm still gonna grind and see if I can find those Grail books, and maybe we can set up at a New York Comic Con or a big show,
Yeah.
but I'm not built for as of right now where my inventory stands is no, we have still good books, but like New York Comic Con, I'm still deciding whether I'm gonna do it. But like I want to have like a Journey into Mystery 83 or AF-15 or
Yeah.
Spider-Man 1. Like I want to have that big stuff, and that stuff is really liquid there.
Yeah.
That's what you need to really have a really, really great show.
For sure.
So, I don't know, a smarter vendor, if someone were to come up to me and, hey, here's Go Collect, here's GPA, here's eBay sold prices, this is eBay asking, like, well, show me your data and let me see what I can do for you,
Yeah.
with that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of it's about. It's just like staying honest, and if you can make like you've been saying. And I interviewed this other guy at WonderCon, who a great dude, great seller. You guys are both saying the same thing. Like, well, it's not so much about like making the most amount of money that I can on the book. It's about like building a relationship with the customer, so that
Yeah.
when they have comic needs, 3 months down the line, they're like, "Yo, do you have a first appearance of Spider-Man? You get a first appearance of Kang. Like, I'm in the
Right.
market for this book," and then you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm your guy. Let me hit you back in a week. Let me go see what I could do for you." And like
Right.
that's what it's about for you guys. And so I just feel like the big cons are kind of dying in some ways. Like as these like older vendors are also like on their way out. Um, because I feel like these big cons are not they they don't have the responsibility to, but they don't hold people accountable. Whereas like if you pop up at like a Torpedo Con or Short Box Live, right? Those are two well-known collector focused cons. Like as a seller, you are representing the integrity of Torpedo Comics, and you're representing the integrity of um short boxed. And even like with atcon, like live selling, like you guys are representing the integrity of Ali and Elite Comics. And so there's like
Mhm.
a level of which like you need to be an honest seller, because you are somebody that like Ali has said like, yo, this dude, reliable, honest, great dude, you can buy books from him. And then if you just fly off the handle and start charging crazy and start ripping people off and scamming people, then that looks bad on him. And so there's like that level of accountability that I think is good with the smaller stuff, that I think The big cons are just lacking at the moment, and I think with the way that the market is, it's just kind of like clashing. And I think that's why WonderCon and LACon at the end of last year were both significantly smaller than they were last year's, because you have guys who are asking crazy prices, and I think that the older vendors have older customers, and I think that they're like buying from each other. Like the older collectors are just trusting, like, oh yeah, I've been buying from this dude for the last 15, 20 years, like I can trust that he's gonna have the right prices when I pull up this year, and might be a little bit ignorant to like what's going on with Elite and the amazing deals that you can get from Elite vendors and all that kind of stuff. And so they're just like walking up to these guys, and yeah, these dudes are charging crazy, and younger dudes like me are like, yo, this dude's out of hand. Like this is crazy. And but the older dudes are like, oh yeah, that's my boy. Like I've been buying from him for 30 years. Like I'm gonna keep buying from him. So I think that's kind of like why some younger vendors, and or at least as far as their like reputation in the scene, why they're kind of like backing out of these big cons, is because they can't compete with the old vendors and the old collectors just buying from each other. And so they're resorting to, I mean, a lot of these like local I live outside of LA, but a lot of these local shops from LA to Central California to San Diego, like I follow a lot of like the more popular comic shops, and they're all doing their own live sales on their own thing. And they're doing well, and so I think that they're kind of saying, well, I don't have to waste, like you said, 30 days of my life setting up for this. I don't have to spend the money for transportation. I don't have to spend the money to hire a full team to be with me selling.
Right.
I don't have to pay a fee to go set up at a con. I can just do everything from my shop, from my garage. If I sign up with Elite or do Whatnot or eBay Live, I pay a percentage, whatever. I don't know what that looks like for you guys, but you pay a fraction of a percentage compared to what you're paying. And especially if you're going to like WonderCon, LA Comic Con, you don't live in the area, then you're not just paying for gas, you're paying for a hotel, and it's just those costs add up. And so yeah, I just feel like as the honest guys, in my experience, I don't have the sovereign opinion of everything, but just from my perspective, it just seems like the dudes who I like, who I typically try to buy from, because I've had good selling and buying relationships with them. They're they're wising up, and they're like, yeah, this isn't worth it. I'm gonna just go sell on my Instagram for free.
Right. Yeah.
But do you kind of think the big cons are going down, or you think we'll see a revival? Because right now, from my perspective, yeah, it seems like big cons, at least at the moment, might be tanking, and it's kind of more of a sort of like a cosplay, more like a artist alley type thing.
All right, so you kind of look at when are these like big cons scheduling, right? Like it's kind of odd, right? Like C2E2 last year was like, I think pretty early, like maybe February or something, and then MegaCon was scheduled like earlier, right? So I don't think these cons are making as much money as they used to. So they're booking at a maybe I speculate that they're booking at a cheaper rate, right? So even like the cons that are more towards like the cosplay, right? Getting those people coming in. Even the like the cons, they targeting people to get signatures, like getting celebrities to come in to get signatures. Right? Like those heads of those cons, they want comic books. Like they want comic book vendors. Like they candidly asked me, like, do you know any other vendors that like could be a really good vendor to sell comic books and have good inventory? Like, and they asked me for referrals all the time when I was, doing more shows. So they want that big money to come in, like those big and comic book investors to come in. They do care. They generally do care about that. Unfortunately, they're charging a lot of money, right? It's not going away. Things are just going to keep getting more expensive. You got
Yeah.
fast food restaurants in California. They're raising the hourly rate to $20 on some bigger chains. Like,
Yeah.
just they're gonna pass all that to the consumer, So as the squeeze happens, it's like, well, they're gonna have to charge more to cover expenses to make a profitable margin setting up at shows. I think overall big shows and small shows, like they're less like the last 2 years, I think,
Yeah.
that are being scheduled, you know. So I mean, people love collectibles, pop culture. I think it's still gonna be around. There's still gonna be vendors coming out. It's just they may just be more local to the
Yeah.
show. They don't have to pay the hotel fee, right? So, and they'll just, you can dual. Like if you're a vendor, you can set up at a con and then you can stream from the con,
Yeah.
or stream at night. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I would do it. I was streaming after New York Comic Con,
Yeah.
like, you know, so yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we streamed with Elite like 3 days, and we did really well streaming with them.
Yeah.
But it's just you just got to be more hybrid, and I don't know. I'm not sure what the future is for comic book vendors at big shows. If you're savvy, you try to do everything.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna have enough books for streams and then also Comic Con if you're doing streaming already? Like, it's inventory's rough right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy to get inventory.
Yeah. It'll all come around. That's just how any market works. It's just a circle, and we're just at one point of the circle, and eventually 2021 will come again. Who knows when? You can't time the market, but it'll be back.
I don't think it'll be back for a good certain amount of books, but there's people appreciate comic book art.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't read open books. Like, they appreciate looking at the art,
Yeah.
the inspiration behind the art, and what these characters, and some of the stories that the covers tell mean to them, right? So I don't think it's gonna go away, like the nostalgia for the market, but it's gonna go up. It's gonna have its growing pains.
Yeah.
Like sport cards did, like,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Thanks for hanging out and talking.
Yeah.
That was a good talk. I had a good time.
Yeah, no worries. Let me know if you ever want me on again or need anything else.
So, where can people find you? What are your ats?
So we're our website, vintagecomicsandtoys.com. And then we have our eBay, same handle, Vintage Comics and Toys. Same handle, Instagram, Vintage Comics and Toys. And yeah, we just do our one big claim show on Elite, at least. Sometimes we do more than one. We're on eBay Live. So we usually schedule a show like, at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific time, like on Monday or Tuesday, or sometimes every other weekend, so you can find more of our affordable stuff on there.
Cool.
But yeah, just reach out, if you guys ever need anything,
Sweet. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Phil. Appreciate your time, man. Had a good time talking with you.
All right. Thanks, bro.
All right, y'all. And that was my WonderCon vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, honestly, just editing it and getting all of that different footage together, and just seeing the finalized product was really fun. I just want to be clear that I'm not condemning every single seller that sets up at Comic-Cons. That is not at all what this is. This is just taking the few bad apples that seem to be at cons and are not respecting the market at the moment. And so because of that, I think people not respecting the market and buyers trying to follow the market, especially in the tough economic times that we live in, it's hard for everybody. And I think just with this kind of not being able to find level ground between the buyer and the seller, that just ultimately puts the buyer in a place where they're not going to buy, which I think is why we saw a huge decline in sellers that were setting up at WonderCon this year compared to last year. And just as a note for myself, just so you guys know, like, I'm probably not going to go to WonderCon next year, just based on what I saw at that convention specifically. It just seems like a convention that's probably not worth my time and money. Even LA Comic-Con 2023 compared to 2022, and I only bought a one-day pass for LA Comic-Con. Whereas in 2022, my wife and I got a hotel down in LA and we spent the weekend there. But this time around, I just got a Saturday pass, went down for one day, and then came back home. And when it comes to WonderCon, it's the same thing. I got to get a hotel and I got to spend 2 to 3 days down there filming and kind of searching and doing all my buying and stuff. And so just based off what I saw this year, it's probably not going to be worth it for me to go down next year and spend the money on an entry fee and a hotel. And the last thing I'll say to sellers is don't forget to check fair market value before you pull up to these cons. In my opinion, I think you'll sell a lot more books than you think you will. I understand if maybe you got into a book a lot more expensive than what it's going for. Totally understand, maybe wait it out, or maybe take the loss and put those funds towards getting new inventory at lower prices. I don't know, it's your business, you do what you want, but ultimately I think honoring what fair market value is will get you a lot of sales. That could be crazy, I don't know, but yeah. And for the buyers, just let me remind you, don't lowball these sellers. You know, they're hard workers. They're helping us get books into our collections that we want. So don't lowball them and trying to diminish their profits. The market is going to be its best when the sellers aren't ripping off the buyers and when the buyers aren't trying to rip off the sellers. If you just honor the data that's in front of you, you can make good sales, you can get books into your collection, and everybody can be happy. My name is Spro. This has been an incredible time in making this video for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed. I got a couple more videos planned and I will be getting those out to you as soon as I can. But if you haven't already, give this video a like. It would mean a lot to me. Share it with a friend that you know also enjoys comics and stuff. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.